حاجی یه چنلی هست به اسم علی فیلم ورکس، یه همچه حالتی. خب من فامیلی ملا محمدی، اونو ولش کن. یه چنل هست به اسم علی فیلم ورکس. خب علی فیلم ورکس یه ویدیو گذاشت توی چنلش که گادافور قدیمی رو ریمیک کرد. ما بهش ریاکشن رفتیم، دمش گرم، کپی رایت اونم هیچی نگرفت، همه چی نرمال بود. با یه دونه ویدیوش نه تنها چنلش مانیتایز شد، اون موقع 100 کی ساب هم داشت با یه دونه ویدیو. خب این چنل رو ما اون موقع قدیم دیده بودیم. الان یه ویدیو جدید داده 2 هفته پیش که یه ویدیو دوباره اورجینال رو تبدیل ریمیک کرده گادافور رو. حالا جالبی این داداشمون چیه؟ علی فیلم ورکس. من نمیدونستم ایشون ایرانیه. خب و نمیدونم میتونم براتون پستش رو پیدا کنم سری براتون یا نه. بذار ببینم پیدا میکنم. آها پیدا کردم آجی. اینجا رو نگاه. وایسا یه دور دیگه صدا نداشت. در همین حد ببینید. سلام. من کانال یوتیوب فارسی هستم. من چرا البته ویدیو خودم و فقط یه 12 موفق شدم بالای 100,000 سابسکرایبر بگیرم. همون ویدیو من ترکون و بالای 4 میبینیدش؟ میذارم با کمک تیم با اندروپی هم داره کار میکنه. من نمیدونستم ایرانیه. الان که فهمیدم علاقه‌مندتر شدم. چرا دروغ؟ فکر عربه، نه ایرانیه. بعد باحال‌ترین ایده‌ش هم توی ویدیو ساختنش چی بود؟ عینکش بود. عینکش بر اساس حالت احساسش تغییر میکنه، مثلا اخمو میشه، عینکش اخمو میشه. خیلی باحال. ویدیو داده اینو میخوام ببینم جدا از شوخی. دوست دارم ببینم. حقیقتا دوست ندارید بگید. انم میخوام ببینم باز چی دارم میگم. بابا ورد اف وارکرافت دارو بشینیم. تبلیغات اگزیل لگه. میگم بابا سگ آخه ورد اف وارکرافت بازی میکنه. بابا بذار اینم 180 میکشی 480 چی بیشرف.
I'm so disappointed. I was at least expecting a remaster for the 20th anniversary.
از جایی که شما گناه دارید بچه خوبی هستید زیرنویسش هم کنم. زیرنویسم فارسیه. ساب تایتل آتو جنریت. گناه دارید بالاخره زبان انگلیسی نمیرید یاد بگیرید که. من به 8 زبان دنیا مسلطم.
Disappointed. I was at least expecting a remaster for the 20th anniversary.
بیشرف کار کن دیگه الان تنظیم آتو جنریت پریشیان کن.
All we get is this piece of Sony. You're not even listening, are you?
دست چرا زیرنویس خرابه؟ من که تو الان دارم 480 اشکال نداره. بس اینه چرا زیرنویس خرابه؟ برام دنگ.
I'm gonna do it myself. And this time we're gonna have a brand new Kratos design.
شمالی، فارسی، گیلانی، مازنده، انگلیسی، منطق نه ببین زبون حیوانی بلدم. الان با تو دارم حرف بزنم. افغانی یکم بلدم چون بعد ترکیب کنم با تو پلیر حرف بزنم. شمالی بلدم. بعد ترکی یکم بلدم در حد فهمیدن. انگلیسی بلدم. روسی و اسپانیایی فوش بلدم بدم. بعد دیگه چه زبانی داریم؟ آخری رو حساب بکنم. لوری هم بلدم. نه البته باشه کردی بلدم. ببین مثلا میتونم بگم I fuck your dog in the basement. دیدی؟ خیلی ترکیبی به گفتم. 8 زبان رو توش جا کردم.
Undead Legionnaires, the Aegean Sea and the Hydra.
فیلم ژاپنیه؟
Just wait, Sony. This is gonna be everything you navigate.
روسی در حد بیلیت ناخوی بلدم.
Since the previous one didn't get much love. For the new design, just imagine Kratos from God of War 3 having a baby with Kratos from God of War Valhalla.
یعنی چی بیبی؟ آها منظورش ترکیب جفتشونه. آجی گادافور قدیم رو نگاه کنید. سیبیل چیز داشت، از این چیزا ریشکوس چیزا داشت البته.
Wait, I took the negative comments seriously and decided to fix all the issues we had with the previous design.
His mouth looks weird. Danish.
Fixed. You think he was so skinny? Fixed. Doesn't have six-pack abs. Fixed. Why does he have 4 toes? Those are not 4 toes.
یه دونه انگوش کوچیکشون پایینه.
You idiot. The pink is covered by the sandals. I even changed the tattoo and made it a bit sharper. Much meaner.
Much stronger.
Much Kratos.
خوشا آرژانتینی بلدم. یعنی الان آرژانتینی بلدم. 100% آره. چرا که نه؟
All right, let's make the blades of chaos. Nothing too fancy, just added
Fuck you, don't like
shaped the font
فارسی
to match
میشه.
the image, added some thickness, modeled the handle and tried to make a basic
بابا،
shape. I
نگاه.
added some resolution and started sculpting the detail. Then imported it
حاجی
into Texas
شمشیر
Painter
کریتوس
texture
واقعا
to
خفنه.
perfection.
قبول بلید اف
But check
کیاس.
this out. I added an emission texture to the blades,
Ooh.
so they can glow like hit it middle.
چه
That
باحال.
would be cool, right? Time to work on the undead legionnaires.
این بنده خدا گادافار 1 گادافار 1 خیلی خفنه. من دوباره بازیش کردم.
I noticed the
ژاپنی ایتادا کیماس. اصلا چی دیگه بهتر از این کلمه اصلا داریم مگه؟ ناندا کوره.
undead didn't
Non
quite
end up
feel
the
right.
bio.
They looked a bit too clean and muscular, like some gym dudes painted gray. Let me show you how I do it. I downloaded this zombie model from Mixamo, which was
هندی هم
perfect for
بلدم
what I
راستی.
had in mind. It's not cheating, I'm just borrowing it.
چه
I
باحال.
imported him into Blender, sculpted his face, removed his pawns, and started
چه سانسور عجیب.
modeling a Greek armor using parts of its own body.
کریتوس مورتال کمبت هم خدا بود. کریتوس تو مورتال کمبت بود راستی آره. اینی که نوشی در و پنجره است هانو. من گفتم بلدم نگفتم میفهمم.
Here I wasn't trying to recreate the undead exactly like the game. Their design was a bit too simple, so I pushed it further and added more
Arigato
details to make
gozaimasu.
it feel even more realistic. Then again,
Gozaimasu.
started texturing them using Substance Painter. I gave the metallic parts this bumpy texture
Dark Lord
that looks
Foon.
handmade and changed the color of the skin to
چه
a
باحال
darker
شد.
greenish color.
علم
Because
چقدر
dead
خوب
people
پیشرفت
are
کرده
Don't
جدا
ask
از
me how
شوخی.
I know that. I painted some blood on his face and body, and even made the eye sockets a bit darker. Of course, I didn't forget the hair on top of the helmet. Oh my god, it looks so cool already. If you take a look at the undead in
اوف.
Valhalla, you can see they have
اینا تو والهالا بودن راستی آره. من والهالا رو چرا تموم نکردم؟
fully
پوشه؟
incorporated
من میدونم پوشه به روم نیاوردم. گفتم ناراحت میشه یه
line,
درصد
which
بگم
kinda makes them
کلمه رو.
look, let's say, less interesting. Let me show you how to make it interesting. First, you make the eyes completely hollow and have only the iris glow. And if you're going for extra creepiness, let only the pupils glow and switch the colors from red to white. And we're done! I took inspiration from this Reddit user who did the same with a FNAF poster. And finally, he
حاجی
looks
FNAF رو
dead.
هیچ وقت
You can even
نفهمیدم.
feel the smell. And they smell like shit. Which is great. I made 7 different unique variations of them so they don't feel
Ooh.
copy-pasted. This is called respecting the audience, folks.
حاجی جدا از شوخی سونی خیلی خفنه. یعنی باید قدرشو بدونیم. برو یکم با بتل نت و بلیزارد کار بکن. هی دلم پره.
I spent the rest of the week rigging every single one of them because without rigs they can't move at all. Now the zombies are able to move.
چه سوتی هم داره. عظمت پرده سبز دیدین پاش. حاجی همیشه برام سوال بود وقتی پرده سبز میذاری دقت کن پاهاشو نگاه کنید. پاهاشو میبینید؟ چرا یه جوری نمیکنید پاتون یکم صافتر باشه طبیعی شه پاشنه پاتون؟ نمیدونم نمیشه. کامera رو باید بیر پایینتر بگیری مثلا بشه.
You know what else can move? A tank. Because this video is sponsored by
World of نام وورتاندر ای بابا.
the
وورتاندر.
most comprehensive vehicle combat
دستفوش.
game ever made. Even the
حاجی داداشمون نون داره میخوره رو همین یه دونه ویدیو. شاید باورتون نشه این یه دونه ویدیو چند دقیقه است؟ 16 دقیقه است. ادریوینیوش حساب بکنیم مثلا بگیم 10-12 دلار بده. خب بابت یک ویو تا الان هم 800-900 کی خورده. یعنی نزدیک چقدر بهتون میگم نزدیک هم یک دلار رو داده. نزدیک یک چقدر میشه 120 میلیون. این تبلیغات هم خودش 5-6 کی میده باور کن. وورتاندر هزینه
they've
میکنه.
got no money because this game
بهترین شرکت تاریخ
take command of over
بلیزارد
2500
ناموسن
planes,
نیست.
tanks,
اگه قدیم رو
helicopters,
حساب کنی
and
آره
ships
ولی جدید رو
from the
نه.
1920s all the way to modern day. War Thunder has one of the most sophisticated
War
damage models
Thunder.
in gaming and with X-ray views.
هیچ وقت
which is my
بازیش حال
personal
نکردم.
favorite,
ارتباط
you see how
نگرفتم.
exactly a shell pierces through an armor and destroys the vehicle. It's super satisfying. And the best part, now you can play War Thunder
حاجی.
anywhere because now it's available on mobile
دهنت سرویس چه تبلیغاتی.
too. Immerse yourself in the
$5000 حلالت.
intense combat of War Thunder,
Just
where
some
detailed
me.
vehicles, realistic graphics, and authentic sound design put you right at the helm of the most powerful war machines of our time. Play War Thunder today for free. Available on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and now mobile. Download the game using my links pinned in the comments. If you're new or haven't played for 6 months, you'll also score a
اگه با لینک این داداش برید بهش پولی درصدی هم میده اگه اشتباه نکنم. اگه خواستید برید برید. من دارمش کیریه وورتاندر. مثلا بازی چیز دیگه فری تو پلی گاچاتوری انگار. یه جورای گاچا که نه مثلا شت گیمه ولی خب باحاله. الکی سنگینه گیمش.
Alright, let's work on our environment. Stick around because next up we're bringing the
چرا
Hydra.
سانسور میکنه؟ فکر کنم فیلم ژاپنیه. این ستا
Thankfully,
ماره.
my buddy Viniesh hooked me up with the 3D model of the ship from the first level, which saved me
دمشق.
days of work.
دمشق.
Thank you, Viniesh. I imported the ship into Blender, added some resolution,
اندازه
and
ردده
changed the
ناموسه؟
textures with a high quality wood texture. I layered
quality
dirt
رو.
and details on top and made the surface
حاجی
look a
بازی
bit
سازی
wet.
هم
Then
واقعا
filled
حال
it with all
میده.
kind of trash like broken woods, ropes, fishing nets, you know, almost stuff. And of course I didn't forget to paint the eyes in front of the ship. Greek ships had those for some reason. And check this out, it looks sick! For the environment I scattered some rocks and stones I found online and tried to make it close to the original. I kept the original game open on my second monitor to use as a reference.
حاجی بازیشو نگاه کن. این بازی مال چند سال قبله؟ مال 20 سال قبل هست. نزدیک چند بود گاد آف وار 1 بذارینم اینجا رو قیمت رم گاد آف وار 1 ریلیز دیت 2005. این بازی مال 2005. خیلی بازیش خفنه. جدی اگه بازی نکردین بازی کنید. با نت ایران 70 گیگ چقدر طول میکشه نمیدونم، زیر 1.5 ساعت اینا فکر کنم. با نت ایران بستگی داره کجای ایران رو داریم. الان نت من سرعت دانلودم 70 مگه. سمی حقیقتا.
A translucent watery material for it. Pretty simple, but works like a charm. I then threw in some PNG images of broken ships in the distance to give it some sense of chaos. For this guy, I just used the video footage in the background, no big deal. And it looked fine until the camera moved. So I went back to the original game to see how they did it. And turns out, they used animated cloud textures on a sky dome. So I tried doing that by adding a sphere, slicing it in half and throwing some cloud textures.
حاجی چقدر قدیم خفن ویدیو گیم میساختن. یه جوری میساختن که هم خوشگل باشه، هم مهمترین ملاکشون بود که کامپیوتر اینا همه بکشه. الان اصلا اینطوری نیست. الان فقط میسازن. تخمشون هم نیست. میگه نمیگه 50 80 بگیر.
Until I changed the camera angle and suddenly everything looked flat. You know, here's the tricky part. Just because something looks cool in cinematic from one angle doesn't necessarily mean it looks cool in cinematic from other angles as well. But I have an idea.
پس خوش.
If I make the lights track the object and parented them to the camera, that way no matter where the camera moves, the lighting always follows.
آها تبلیغات دمت گرم. الان وارتاندر هم بیاد دیگه پشمام میرسه. والورانت چی دبلیو آهنگ دینگا خواه ساخت خاص نمیدونم راست میگه که واکن با تفله بگی پی سی ببند. چه تمیز شد. خیلی تمیز شد جدی.
I definitely deserve an Oscar for this. Next up comes something pretty cool.
این میمای مورد علاقه دکتر بود. حاجی بازیش برای 2005 نگاه چقدر خفن بوده. این بازی رو من اولین بار بازی کردم تو پلی استیشن 2. تازه فهمیدم مرد بودن چیه. بعد اون سیمز بازی کردم البته اگه ناراحت نمیشین. ولی خب
Oh my god, it looks so realistic. I even added some ropes and cloth moving with the wind to make the scene more stormy and dynamic. And with that, our environment is finished.
فکر نکنم.
Alright.
فقط چیز تمام شد.
Now comes the moment I've been the most excited about. The Hydra!
بابا سانسور نکنین. هی فکر می‌کنم فیلم ژاپنی.
I extracted the 3D model from the game. Wait, I'm not stealing. I'm just
3D مدلش گرفت.
borrowing it. Yeah, so I added some resolution, sculpted some scales and details until it looked okay. After finishing the details, I imported it.
اینو نشون میده مثلا یه دونه سری میزنه جلو یه ثانیه میگذره. فکر نکن یه ثانیه ها. ببین مثلا تو یکی باشی که چه میدونم حتی شده بری تو فتوشاپ یه کاری انجام بدی میفهمی این ساعت ها شاید روزها طول بکشه.
Substance painter and gave it a basic brownish green color. I gave it a rough scaly skin to make it feel like a giant snakefish and also painted a reptilian diamond-shaped pattern on its back, like you can see in poisonous snakes. I didn't like the original teeth, so I removed them and replaced them with even better-looking ones. And even added some terrifying eyes. I also didn't like the ears, so I changed them with a fishy fin-like ears. Oh my god, this is so cool. I also decided to give him an extra eyelid, which you can see in reptiles. I thought it would be cool to include that also. Ladies and gentlemen. The Hydra!
چه تمیز شد حاجی. چشش جوریه ولی
It's finally time to make the shots and bring it all together.
خیلی تمیز شد جدی.
The Hydra is nothing compared to what you're about to see. The first shot we're going to make is the iconic opening.
سینماتیکشو میخواد بسازه دیگه.
Where Kratos faces the undead. So I dropped Kratos in the scene and animated him taking a few steps forward before
پاره شد اینجا نگاه پاره شد.
Here's the tricky part. You can't just make a character grab something in 3D. Doesn't work like that. Instead, we make two duplicates of the object. One on the ground, one parented to his hand. And when he grabs it, the sword on his hand appears and at the same time the one on the ground disappears, giving the perfect illusion that he's picking it up.
چه باحال.
In our case,
نمیدونستم اینو.
In my previous video, a lot of you didn't like how Kratos' face moved. Some of you said it was janky, weird,
قیافه دهنش اینطوری
or even garbage. So this time I spent way more effort and even gave him facial wrinkles to make it even more believable and layered tons of animation on top.
اون آدم پاره میشه اینو
Here's what I
بسازی
got.
Subscribe!
Nah, I'm just kidding. Here's how it really looks.
Foul beast! I will send you back!
Then I ran into a familiar problem. When
میشه گفت انیمیشن سازی تا بازی سازی
his shoulders
ببین نه نمیشه گفت انیمیشن سازی تا بازی سازی ببین انیمیشن سازی یارو کونش پاره میشه یه چیزی رو انیمیت میکنه که خیلی خفن باشه کاری که این داره میکنه آره من میدونم چی داری میگی منظورت چون داره سینماتیکشو میسازه دیگه ولی تو بازی سازی تو باید اون کامپیوتر رندر کنه اینا رو خیلی فرق
weird
داره
as fuck. You guys actually pointed that a lot in my previous videos. saying
البته
stuff
از
like,
برای این ویدیو راست
"Shoulders
میگه
look
یعنی
off,
شبیه
Kratos is
انیمیشن سازی
disabled." Some of you even said he has fucking boobs. The easiest way to fix this mess is by using shape keys. What it basically does, you go to the frame where the shoulders start looking weird and fix them manually by using sculpting techniques. Now you can see the shoulders are moving naturally. And with that, our first shot is finished. For the
پشمام
next shot, I'm going to remake this scene. But for my version, I wanted to introduce the undead one by one. So the camera slowly pans from left to right, until
fuck
finally
that.
the last one roars at the camera. This idea was inspired by this amazing shot from
این
God of War 3. I
آجی این گاد آف وار 3 این شاتش خدا
don't
بود
always hand animate my characters manually. This way it will take forever. Sometimes I download free animations online and tweak them until they look exactly how I want it. And here you can see the results before and
چقدر
after editing
بهتره
the
راستیه
animation. Since it's raining in our scene, I tried to make the skins look a bit wet and even added some
That's
droplets on the helmets using simulation nodes. I also made the hair react to motion and winds that looks way cooler and even made their glowing eyes flicker slightly, giving them a creepy, possessed vibe.
حاجی
That
خیلی
shot
خوب
2
شده
is finished.
خیلی خوب شد
For shot 3, the original idea was
من عاشق گاد آف وار
super
1 و
short.
2 هم خیلی
The
خفنم
zombies show up.
تا حالا 2 بار تمومشون
each one
کردم
of them. Then Kratos feels something behind him. He turns around. There's the giant Hydra, and that's it. But honestly, giving my audience that after they
لو یوتیوبش هم تو این ویدیو گرفته بود اندروپی براش آورده بود
know that would have been disrespectful. So I decided to change the plan and go all out. Fights, chaos, adrenaline, blood. I started with a rough
Hashmam.
animation of Kratos' iconic fight, then polished it and filled in between the frames until it
حاجی
looked epic. Next up,
پاره
the animation
شده
of the blades. It was really simple.
قشنگ چند وقت ویدیو نداده بود بذار ببینم این برای 2 هفته پیشه اون یکی برای 9 قشنگ یه بچه حامله شد انگار دیگه تا این به دنیا بیاد دیگه رسما یه شکم زایید تا این
I
ویدیو
just
بیاد
added a curve, turned it into a chain, attached the tip to the bottom of the blade, and the end of it to Kratos' hand. Works like a charm. Here's how it looks in action.
قدیم فکر کنم کمپانی
For the
گنده
undead, I
اینو
went
ساخته
with
بود
something called modular
با اون
animation.
کیفیت تازه
Basically, I made several animation layers like
چطوری
walking,
پلیر؟
running, attacking, dying, you name it. It's the same approach game engines use. The way it works is pretty simple. Whenever the timeline hits one of the animation layers, that animation kicks in. And here's how it
بابا
looks in action.
گنگ استایل چه حاجی
I even
خیلی
decided
تمیز
to add
شده
constraints to headbones and selected Kratos as their target. That way, they always look at him wherever he goes.
تکنولوژی ها نگاه از این چیزا قدیم بود فکر نکنم
It's a fun little effect I just figured out. Alright, time to add some cool effects. First up, I decided to make the blades heat up whenever Kratos releases them. I also made a smart shader that makes the chains heat up the closer they get to the blades. It makes it way cooler that way. If you played the original game, you'll probably know that the blades always leave a fiery trail behind them. I found this amazing tutorial by Cartesian Caramel that shows you how to make a similar effect using geometry nodes. And it was okay, but I added my own twist to it and made it look like fire with some embers behind it. Alright boys, things are about to get violent because we're making blood. I tried full simulations at first and that was too heavy for my machine, but I had some tricks up my sleeve. I made a single liquid splash simulation and reused it every time one of the undead gets damaged. It was pretty convincing to me. To make a realistic blood material, we need to turn down the roughness all the way to 0, then crank up the subsurface gathering. Now it looks like milk coming out of his nipple. But when you change the colors to deep red, boom! You've got yourself some realistic blood. I also got a cool idea when I was playing Devil May Cry 5 a while ago. You know how when you hit the demons with the sword, that leaves a burning mark on them like a wound. I thought that was awesome, so I tried doing the same thing in Blender using physics. And it turned out better than I expected. And I couldn't help myself. It was so fun. I spent hours messing around with it. And here comes the moment I've been dying to show you. Remember in the original God of War, the enemies vanished when we killed them? Yeah, baby, we're doing that.
اینم درست
In the original
کردی؟
game, the effect was pretty basic. They just disappear. But I wanted my version to be way more
2005 واقعا
dramatic. First of
بیسیک
all, they
نبود
slowly
خیلی
turn
خفن
black.
بود
Then the body starts burning and fading away. Then I added some smoke. Then only the bones and clothes remain. And also made them collapse to the ground and disappear as well.
خیلی کار کرد
I
دیگه.
also thought it would be fun to reference the original game by adding red orbs. But for my version, I tried something like a glowing liquid energy. Kind of like blood, you know? Popping out of the zombies when they die. Now it's time to add some slow motion.
What the fuck.
And you might think, oh, that's the easy part, just decrease the speed. Wrong! Blender doesn't do slow motion the traditional way.
باید
Just
همه
doesn't
رو
work
چیز
like that.
کنی.
Even games from 25 years ago could do it easily. So I had to space the keyframes manually for every single animated object. And before you say anything, yeah, I tried plugins, it didn't work. Not to mention the rain, because in slow motion, it's not like some lines falling from the sky.
حالا فرض کن مثلا یک چیز خیلی خفنی رو درست کردی بعد یهو تو ایرانی دیگه برق میره. الان خریدم برای اتاقم بعد می‌پرسم پشمات بریزه بفرست اگه خفن بود منم بگیرم
Like
جدی.
tiny little spheres. To make that, I figured out it's best to
یارو
use
حساب دارم
wobbling
واقعا
ugly
دستخوش
spheres
داره.
driven
آره
by
ایرانیه
particles.
میدونستی
And after
بده.
3 weeks of work, I
خیلی کارش
finally
خفنه.
managed to make the slow motion feel right. In the original game, there's a shot where the undead break the hatch and come for you. I wanted to
نمیدونستم
make that
ایرانیه.
too, as a little nod to the original. To break the chains, I didn't actually run heavy simulations. Instead, I used the same tricks the original game did. If you
آهنگ
look
شد.
closely, they actually revealed the chain explosion and at the same time hide the chain sealing the door. I tried doing the same, so I used rigid body for realistic physics,
حاجی دهنش
disable the chain
سرویس
sealing the
شد.
door, and reveal the chain explosion
این
I
تک
made
تک اینا
earlier
روزها وقت
simultaneously, giving the
میگیره.
illusion of zombies
بعد
breaking the chains.
چیزایی رو
I also made the
نمیدونن.
zombies pose when they come up and added some lightning for extra evil vibes. You might think this is such a cool and epic shot, and you're right, but behind the scenes is a total mess. Like basically any of our shots, everything looks good only from camera. But if you look at the
دقیقاً،
behind the
آره.
scenes, yeah. Mainly because I had a
game
very small
فقط
space
خوبه.
to stage this huge fight, so the characters always had to stay inside the borders. Stay
حاجی
tuned because next up we have Kratos versus the Hydra.
حاجی تو رو
For the
خدا
final
بهت
shot,
نشون
I
بده ببینم
started with
چیه.
animating the Hydra emerging from water. I even made its ears shake using a noise
PC
modifier.
سنگینی هم
I don't know, I thought it would be
میخواد.
more interesting that way. The mouth looked too clean, so I added a plane, applied a slimy texture on it, and put it inside of its mouth to simulate some saliva. Then added some displacement and animated it to move quickly as if it's reacting to the Hydra's breath. If this is not a pitch, I
حاجی.
don't know what is. Next I animated
به
Kratos
چه
launching
چیزایی
high in the
دقت
air heading
میکنه؟
straight for the Hydra. I even used particle system with a dust texture
بابا
on the
خیلی
skin to
دهنش
simulate some
سرویس.
smoke trails. It makes his jumping look way more epic. And with that, our
هشمام.
final shot is finished and it was finally time to render, or so I thought. Sometimes it crashed mid-render. Sometimes the render was glitching. Sometimes I finished rendering
وای.
only to realize
حاجی
it's
خیلی
noisy and
حس بدی
unusable just
داره.
because I forgot to check this stupid box. Oh my god.
حاجی خیلی
These
بده.
past 8 months were the hardest of my life.
حاجی پاره رندر
I
گرفتن رو
regretted
تو
starting
زندگیتون
this
نمیدونم
project
تست
so
کردید
many
یا نه.
times.
پاره میشید.
But the only thing that kept me
تک تک
going
فریما رو نگاه باید رندر بگیره
love.
کامل.
for this
پاره
project,
میشه.
for this game,
بعد پیسیش به
and for
چخ
my
میره.
job as a YouTuber.
رندر این پاره میکنه با پیسی. من یه سال تو با پیسی تو که اصلا
I finally
نمیده.
exported my renders as OpenEXR. Because it comes with all of these passes and
کشل
this
بامکش اومد چند وقت
allows
نمیتونم
you to
فوتبال
push your
بازی کنم
visuals even
ناموسن.
further. Then finally I throw them into DaVinci Resolve for some color grading and sound design. And after 7 months of modeling, animating,
چند وقت یعنی
rendering,
چند وقت؟
post-processing, backache. I'm sure you want to subscribe because there's even more exciting content coming. Enjoy the video.
شروع شد آجی. شروع شد. برو که رفتیم آجی. گوسپامپ سگ من از 2005 تا الان منتظر صحنه بودم.
I will send you back to the
چقدر
depths of
تمیز
rain.
داره بود. اوف آجی جدی موهایت الان سیک شد. فاک نشون میده؟ فاک نشون میده؟ نه اون نشون نده. اوف
Let the rage of the gods drive your blades, Kratos.
حاجی حاجی وای خیلی خوبه. وای آخ موام سیخه. چقدر خوب شده. دهنت سرویس. چجوری تونستی اینو بسازی؟ حاجی خیلی کارش درسته. تو 244 میبینی؟ ادامه داره؟ تموم شد دیگه. حاجی این 8 ماه طول کشید فکر کنم.
Again, huge thank you to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. Don't forget to play it for free on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, or mobile. Now by using our links in the pinned comments or video description. New and returning players who haven't played for 6 months will also receive a massive USA bonus pack with premium vehicles and even more goodies. Available on console and PC only for a limited time.
حاجی خیلی خفن بود جدی. حس کردم نیاز دارم تو زندگی یه دو سینماتیک گاد آف وار رو خفن ببینم. چی شده دانش کردم؟